Welcome to the Black Men Experiences channel. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic that beyond needs such an immensely more conversation about these type of domestic abuse assaults toward numbers of males that continues to be minimized. And then on the opposite side of that is when you have some type of emasculated men that society loves to sit there and keep them from sitting there saying enough with this one-sided misogynisticness, goat dung tongue nonsense of minimizing domestic abuseness by numbers of violent women against males. And these domestic abuse, various type organizations, various type political figures, the ones who know they love when numbers of males do not get tired of the one-sidedness of, when you say the word domestic abuseness and, oh my goodness, we got to protect women, especially these Sister of Chaos type members. We got to protect these black women. But you're like, what about the protection against numbers of men that get domestically abused every day? Numbers of black males who get abused every day by numbers of the Sister of Chaos, right? And every single time, or continuously, more and more numbers of black men who are not reporting being abused. It ain't funny. This is what numbers of them do, like ward feminists. This is what they do. Give me a second. Let me show you what they do. All right. So in this topic, Sha'Carri Richardson, a great world-class, talented track and field black woman. But at the same time, by her wink wink allegedness, see, it ain't allegedly. If a man is doing some domestic violence, it ain't allegedly, it is. So Sha'Carri Richards, by actions of doing domestic violenceness upon her world champion black male, who by his behavior is a simpleton, a gullible simpleton, who tried to defend Sha'Carri Richards' domestic violence against him. So let me go ahead and share my first screen on this. So let me go ahead and hold on. Which one I want to show first here? Hold on, give me one moment. Okay, here we go. So let me go ahead and read. Let me get this off first. All right. Now just keep this in mind as I'm reading. If this was vice versa, and he did this to her, sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson arrested at Washington Airport, Seattle, Washington Airport, on a domestic violence offense. The police report said an officer was notified by a TSA supervisor of a disturbance between Richardson and her boyfriend, sprinter Kristen Gullible Simpleton Coleman. Article was done August 4th, 2025. Today is August 7th, 2025. Reigning 100-meter world champion Sha'Carri Richardson was arrested last weekend for allegedly assaulting her boyfriend at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Richardson was arrested Sunday on a fourth-degree domestic violence offense. According to the police report obtained by this particular entity, on Thursday, she ran in the opening round of the women's 100 meters at the U.S. Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. She has an automatic bye. She has an automatic bye to the World Championships in September in Tokyo as defending champion. The 25-year-old Richardson was booked into the South Correctional Entity in Des Moines Washington at 6:54 p.m. last Sunday and released Monday at 1:15 p.m. U.S. ATF is aware of the reports and is not commenting on this matter. U.S. Track and Field said it in a statement. I'm shortcut just a little bit so I can show some other stuff. The Polish report said an officer at the airport was notified by a TSA administrative supervisor of a disturbance between Richardson and her boyfriend, spinner Christian Coleman. The officer reviewed camera footage and observed Richardson reach out with her left arm and grab Coleman's backpack and yank it away. That's a form of domestic violence, by the way. Richardson then appeared to get in Coleman's way, with Coleman trying to step around her. Coleman was shoved into a wall. Let me repeat that. Coleman, simpleton gullibleness, trying to step around her. Coleman was shoved into a wall at the Seattle airport. That's domestic violence. And he was trying to defend her. And however, other people, there were some people who were trying to defend her. However, numbers of Sisterhood of Chaos members were trying to defend her. However, numbers of other personnel, the ones who know who they are. But again, if this would have been Christian Coleman, he did that to Sha'Carri Richardson, his career would have been overall over with. The report later said Richardson appeared to throw an item at Coleman. That's another form of domestic violence, which the TSA indicated may have been headphones. In the police report, the officer said he was told Coleman did not want to participate any further in the investigation and declined to be a victim. What's that, Dr. Spot? How does that sound, Dr. Spot? Agreed. This is why there are certain numbers within Black maleness, within Americanism, that will never ever get respect, because there's many types of Sister of Chaos members. This is what they do when they know they got some simpleton gullible ones out here who just refuse to have a backbone toward these type of violent type women, these violent type numbers, Sister of Chaos members, etc. Right? This is what they do. So let me go ahead and share my screen on this. Let me show where some of these little what do you call it? Defending, where this guy was defending the domestic violence situation by Sha'Carri Richardson upon him, shoving him, making him fall, yanking a backpack from him, throwing headphones at him. Those are different forms of domestic abuse situations. But if that was vice versa, oh, no. He would have been arrested. It would have been all types of outrage, politicalness, however numbers of domestic abuse, however entities. The list go, how many of the Sister of Chaos members? We must protect Black women more. You get the whole, you see the whole thing played forward of propaganda mantra-ness. But if it was being a Black male that got sit there and abused, well, whatever then, right? And then he sit there and try to make excuses for it. Oh my goodness. So let me go ahead and show this part. Now, Sha'Carri Richardson boyfriend Christian Coleman defends her after domestic violence arrest. God. This is the simpleton stuff. He even has the aura of a simpleton. So let me go ahead and play this.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was just a sucky situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if like she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she have like things that she needs to work on for herself, of course. So do I, so do you, like everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just like extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if like I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like I just look at like situations like this to just like, you know, take a step back, analyze yourself mentally, and then just try to see what you could do to be your best self so that you can move forward, so you can just be the type of person and a human that God needs you to be for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's kind of how I look at the situation. And like, and I hate the narrative too of just like, you know what I'm saying, it's so negative. But like I said, it's just like in the state of Seattle, even talking to the cop or whatever, he was just like, it really was nothing I could do. And just like, I understood. But I mean, like I said, it was just a sucky situation. But she's a human being and a great person. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like we've been able to be like really good teammates like all year. And I hate that narrative too because you know, us coming together, like we're just two like real dominant personalities. And she's, to me, the best female athlete in the world. Like I see it every day. And like, you know, for me in my process, like I just said, like moving training groups, a whole new environment, a whole new, you know what I'm saying, training setup, different than what I've been in the past, like, you know, 10 years of my, you know, track and field career, and transitioning and then still coming back running 9.8 and feeling like I got so much more to give. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my path, that's my journey, and like being so up close and personal with her every day. And like I watch this girl like fall on the track like in February and walk it off like it was, you know what I'm saying, like a cramp, but get back up and have to take like a month and a half of just like rehab and trying to come back. And then 3 weeks later like have a competition and like, you know what I'm saying, like she just has a lot of things going on and like a lot of emotions and forces going on inside of her that like not only I can understand, but you know nobody can, because she 1-on-1 and I'm 1-on-1 too. And so I know everything is happening in God's plan because obviously he's 1-on-1. And so that's really the main focus and the thing that I just wanted to say. And I know that like it's been a tough journey for her this year, but she gonna bounce back. And like I said, I see it every day. She's the best female athlete in the world.
That was embarrassing. He's a world-class track and field champion himself. I think he also went to the Olympics. I think almost was able to get to the Olympics. Either went to the Olympics or was almost qualified to go to Olympics. This guy, he's a world-class athlete and also an extreme simpleton. When you got people that look at this type of nonsense he said, that makes numbers of other black men look like simps, with very few exceptions. Now, there are numbers of strong black males ain't tolerating that hand putting that where a female putting hands on him. They're not playing that tactic. And he was talking about how basically both of them have dominating personalities. What? He's supposed to be a man. She don't have a dominating personality. So she's not supposed to have a dominating personality toward him. And you can tell he has an emasculating lack of self-confidence in himself as a man, especially the black man. He's good what he does as far as track and field, but that's external. But he's messed up as a black man internal, making excuses for her. But if it was vice versa, no one's hearing about, well, you know what, I mean, we got to put in God's hands and, you know, it's all about what God wants. They be like, what are all that? Right? They be like, you are a domestic business assaulter of a black woman queen. This is embarrassing. Right? Let me share my screen again. One or more black males are going to wake up and start not tolerating this and start calling out these. Hold on, let me before I forget, let me go back. Let me show give me a second here. I'll show that video. Okay, here we go. One or more black males are gonna stand up and stop accepting one-sided misogynistic behavior from various sections within Americanism. This is why, again, overall black men cannot get respect in relationships within Americanism. It's not hard to see on that. It's not hard to see because there's too many numbers within American black manism, that allow the sisterhood chaos members to completely overall disrespect black men overall. Many do, with very few exceptions on that. So let me play this right here too.
But to dive into the details here, according to the article, Sha'Carri Richardson and Christian Coleman had arrived at the Seattle airport en route to traveling to Eugene, Oregon for the national championships. Now, they had just gotten off of their flight. They were going through screening when all of a sudden, Sha'Carri Richardson and Christian Coleman started arguing. This argument escalated into physical pushing, and this pushing went on for a few minutes. It took place right next to a lot of different people, and then, unfortunately, there was a moment when Sha'Carri reportedly threw her headphones at Coleman, striking him somewhere on his body. Now, this isn't some massive assault case here, but according to the report, Washington has very strict domestic abuse laws, and if an officer is present within 4 hours of something happening, they actually have to make an arrest, which I find kind of interesting because at what level do you actually say this is a violence case and what level do you not say it?
Do you hear the minimization in this particular Anglo male's voice? Unless it's an Anglo AI voice. Did you hear the minimization of that? Well, I mean, what level do you call this domestic abuse? And what level do you call this? Or then it's like, oh, they had an altercation. But would he say the same thing if it was vice versa? Of course not.
But either way, Sha'Carri was actually charged with 4th-degree assault on Coleman. This is actually the report from the Seattle Police Department, case 2025-038179. It's already pretty bizarre that this happened in the first place, and it is ridiculous to think that Sha'Carri was booked in the Seattle Police Department just a few days. 7-9. It's already pretty bizarre that this happened in the first place, and it is ridiculous to think that Sha'Carri was booked in the Seattle Police Department just a few days before running in the 100 meters. But what I actually found even more strange and potentially sad is the fact that Christian Coleman might have just been in a terrible headspace moving into the men's 100 final, and if we go back to the results of the men's 100, we can see that he missed making the top 3 by just 0.03 seconds.
Because of who? His mindset wasn't paying attention, right? Thinking about Sha'Carri and stuff like that, right? And how much type of other things has she did toward him, right? That he is this weak, right? You can tell who sit there and wear the pants in their relationship. And she is bisexual. She's bisexual. Now, teach them who they want to be with, but at the same time, listen to how he sounds like a little chump, like emasculated simpleton. She's a bisexuality person doing her thing. She don't know what direction she want to go. And he jumps in the relationship trying to save her and got embarrassed, right? But the thing I want to sit there and go back for a second is look at this. Hold on. So let me go back here. Hold on. So they know told him the reason. Right here, I started to the police officer. I started to speak with Coleman. I told him the reason for the contact and asked him if something had occurred at the checkpoint. Coleman was reluctant to talk to me and initially told me he got into an argument, which then became heated. I asked him what his relationship with Richardson was, and he told me she was his girlfriend of over 2 years. I asked Coleman to explain what he meant by heated, and he would not tell me. Simpleton, gullible, activated. Instead, he stated nothing happened. So nothing happened, video camera show that she's shoving him. I'm telling you, there's some internal emotional damage that he's suffering from himself. Instead, he stated nothing happened. I asked Coleman if there was shoving or anything physical, and he did not. Anything physical had occurred. While video showing she was domestically abusing him. Something is really messed up by certain numbers of black males like him, the one this applies to, right? Because it has to be a non-small percentage of black males that are emasculated, within Americanism society. It has to be millions like that. It has to be. Because you cannot have multi-millions of strong American black men modern day and being disrespected as many black American men are being disrespected daily. And then when numbers of black American men say to hell with y'all, and they go doing they traveling, trying to enjoy themselves, numbers of them get shamed. You just going over to a third world, fourth world country because you can't handle a strong American black woman or sister of chaos. And it's like, yes, to ignore them, I got all that. But ignoring them by however many is not going to resolve the anti-American black men epidemic going on. Because it has to be more black men that's saying, no, it's time for roasting back, checkmating back this hypocrisy, right? Not only of the misogynistic behavior of various Anglo feminists, right? Sister of Chaos type members, and ones that are in between, whatever direction on that. Ignoring is fine if a person wants to do that, but ignoring collectively ain't going to solve nothing within Americanism. Oh, the anti-American black men hatred. And this one-sided acting as if you say the word domestic violence is as if it's just men doing that, as if certain black men doing that. When statistically it is shown that numbers of black women who are doing that, numbers of Anglo women who are doing that, etc. In the initialness, it is those women and however other women are the main instigators of domestic violence at the initialness of domestic violence against the man and the woman relationship. It is when it's toward a man, it is the women collectively that are the main instigators. It is number of women who are sitting there when they sit there and kick. The majority of women are the ones who are the main domestic violence personnel. When they slap, they are the main domestic abuse situation assaulting. When they sit there and even spit, yes, numbers of black women spit on black males, not the other way around. I'm going to sit there and show you something a little bit on that. Throwing objects is a form of domestic violence. Majority of women are instigators in that situation. But at the same time, how many men have gotten their teeth knocked out? How many men have gotten their eyes busted? How many numbers of men have gotten their nose busted? And you got still people trying to minimize that. But the minute you got some few handfuls of men that sit there and say, don't put your hands on me. And they put them hands right back on them. Oh my goodness, you should never put your hand on a woman. The simpletonness of that. Instead of saying numbers of sister of chaos, numbers of Anglo womenism, however other people, do not put your damn hands on a man. This ain't hard to, it's not even that damn complex, boy. It shouldn't be. He declined to provide his name and did not wish to provide him the police officer's identification. It appears he was refusing any further cooperation. He eventually learned the police officer and watched the security video footage that corroborated what he saw on camera, that Coleman and Richardson were involved in a verbal altercation as they exited through security screening in Seattle Washington Airport. Just outside the screening area, Richardson is following and getting close to Coleman several times as Coleman appears to be trying to walk away. Richardson then pushes Coleman. Richardson then pushes Coleman hard enough that it sends him crashing into the nearby column. What an embarrassment that he is as a black man. That his black man card needs to be revoked. Because that is pathetic. And again, this is why millions of American black men will never get real respect in America, especially by numbers of black women modern day, because there's not enough black men to say enough, that they're not tolerating this disrespect anymore collectively on that. And who pays for it for not doing that? Many types of black American youth males. Remember up here when the police asked Coleman to explain what he meant by heated, and he would not tell him. Instead, he said it. Instead he said nothing happened. He asked Coleman if there was shoving or anything physical, and he did not. Anything physical had occurred. But what did it say at the bottom here? I mean, right here. The police saw on the camera that Coleman and Richardson were involved in a verbal altercation. Exit through security screening. Richard is following and getting close to Coleman several times as Coleman appears to be trying to walk away. Richardson then pushes Coleman hard enough that it sends him crashing into the nearby column. That is something neurotic within him. To sit there and allow himself to sit there and be in such internal damaging lack of confidence pain. To sit there and try to defend her. It tells a lot about someone like him. Coleman continues to try to walk away in an effort to get away from Richardson, but she continues to bump into him and get into his personal space. She again pushes Coleman again hard enough that it sends him flying a few feet away. And he is a built black man. He's like 5'9", 5'10", but I mean solid. I mean overall solid muscle, right? World class championess of track and field. And she just pushed him like he wasn't nothing. She emasculated him like he was nothing. And that is sad. That is an embarrassment for him that he's supposed to be an American black man. And he has shown various women in society that he's a very weak one. Because rally thinking black men ain't going to tolerate that. End of story. At this point, it appears Coleman goes back to TSA screening lanes in an attempt to get help. Richardson continues to follow him, still going after him, still getting close to his personal space, and she throws a pair of headphones at Richardson. Oh, excuse me. And she throws a pair. What? Still getting close to the personal space, and she throws a pair of headphones at. He meant Coleman, striking him somewhere on his body. I'm going to start right here. What in the prairie dog's hind leg behind the ghost tongue nonsense was that? That was major embarrassment. See, instead of him having the backbone and understand that black men help build America more than anybody else, besides certain numbers of men within certain parts of Columbus culture. But even that, there's still no comparison of the American black man in America. For all the this inhumanity, demonic laws and powers put upon American black men, all the various achievements, serving in the service more than any other male that besides certain ones within the Columbus culture, no one comes close to the serving in the military more than the American black man. No one comes close to the amount of achievements of the American black man over centuries. No one comes close to the amount of lynchings of the American black men in America. No one comes close. And still getting no reparations. And you got people sliding under people of color banner, sliding under minority banner, all that old nonsense. Right? Regardless. So instead of him, his mindset should have been like this. Say it again. Razor Ramon. But he couldn't have a mentality like that. Last thing I'm going to sit there and show you is this particular video. Now, see, because remember, it's, when people try to keep acting as if, men are the ones who doing domestic violence, or black males doing this and doing that, toward black women. When again, I'm sitting there telling you reality by real statistics, not made up statistics, by real statistics, that the majority of domestic violence instigation is done by women, which then means that the Sister of Chaos also membership would be the main instigators in any type of man and woman relationship, a black man and black woman relationship. When there's altercations going on, the overall amount of the instigation is started by numbers of Sister of Chaos black women. And again, I'm not talking about numbers of good ones out there. Right? Just keep that in mind on that part. But they try to make it seem like that's not the case. But we got to protect black women, right? We got to protect black women, right? Oh, Violence Against Women Act. We got to make sure to keep the Violence Against Women Act. This is my last video. Damn, she'd sit there and insult him, call him a P word, N word. Before I close out this, in this situation, there's a black woman that this Sister of Chaos member was at this whatever fast food place, and this black man who was working there, I guess something happened to her order, whatever it is. She didn't like that. And then, this is what you start seeing, and you heard her call him a P word, N word. No kind of respect at all to him. None. She treated him less than dog shit. Dog shit is more worth it than this type of black man, this video. And also that atrocious N-word usage again needs to be thrown into the space can of trash. And I don't know why you still got people within certain types of American blackism that still allowing people to utilize this atrocious word. It's not a term of endearment whatsoever. Right? And then when other people use the word, some other cultures' backgrounds, which many of them are however messed up when they use the word. So they want to use one of the most atrocious words that's ever been created in America toward a people, and they want to use themselves. Well, why do some black people use it? Go to hell. It don't matter. There are some ones that got some internal problems going on. And that's what you have when you had black pain for centuries. But at the same time, no reparations, while other people, border break, illegal immigrants, immigrationists, tethers, black adjacent ones, the list goes on, right? People fleeing over to other different places from people that look like them, but at the same time playing people of color, minority games, the ones who do this. I mean, the list goes on, right? But at the same time, people sit there and bypassing, black folks and stuff like that left and right off of black pain. I'm not gonna put my hand on you because you're a whole woman. Yeah, this is this sister of chaos queen, right? Let me say it again. This is that sister of chaos queen, right? Push them all in the face and stuff like that. Like he wasn't nothing. I ain't gonna put my hand back on her. Which then does what? Continually encourages, right, domestic violence situations toward men, toward black men. Well, let me phrase that, because numbers of black women ain't gonna be putting their hands on numbers of Anglo women. I mean Anglo males, because they ain't gonna tolerate that, right? And some other males ain't gonna tolerate that either collectively. What does that tell you, right? That it's the black men overall in America who tolerate disrespect at a higher collectiveness than any other male with an Americanism, right? In this type of situation. Oh, you see that? Oh. But she put hands on him first, right? Oh, he does nothing. She spits on him. That's like hatred. That's like some generational stuff within certain parts of Angloism, the ones who still have a predominant-based hatred toward American blacks, right? The one that's ingrained, I thought the one applies to. Spitting in a black man's face. That's hatred. And there are numbers of sister of chaos type members like this one that have a pseudo kind of hatred for black men, and she just spit in his face. He does nothing. Now, if he were to turn around and put some hands on her or spit in her face, oh my goodness, we got to protect women. We must protect black women. These games are easily seen through. Ooh. And he does nothing. The embarrassment of that. Mm. This is beyond embarrassing. That's not a good look for numbers of black men in America. It's already tough to be a black man in America. I'm not talking about ones who know they slot under the generic black banner. Oh, they know who they are. That's slot on the people of color. In minority switchery just came to America just recently in a historical U.S. time. This came over. They have to worry about going through what American black men have been going through for centuries. See, the black men knows, and prior to, I would say, slight bit of 1990s, right before, but definitely in the 60s, those black American men were a lot different in a collective way. In a collective way, black American men were a lot more stronger, and they weren't going to tolerate even more. They all have to deal with racial racism, terrorism going on by certain ones within certain parts of Panama's culture, right? There's no such thing, some major demographics of Hispanics. There's no such thing, major demographics of stereotype Asians, either Armenia, Iran, Iraq, as an Asian countries. That's a whole different game in itself, right? You get the point what I'm talking about. So American black men were a different type of strongness. And when 1970s hit, when supremacists who are very brilliant and also feminist supremacy, they got together, was like, you know what, we can't have the strong American black men to keep trying to rise up like this. So we need to sit there and get all kind of different kind of programs and other type of anti-American black things and law, or anyway, continuous anti-American black laws and policies, etc. Right? And we'll sit there and have the Sister of Chaos members acting like saying that they don't need no man, or Star no act like that they are a mountain to themselves, right? And say for the last almost 50 some freaking years, each decade the Sister of Chaos have gotten worse and gotten bold with their disrespect. And you see on social media and this left and right of the blatant anti-American black hatred of black men, the blatant disrespect, the blatant many numbers of American black men just being emasculated. And the Sister of Chaos knows that many numbers of black males are not going to sit there and say enough of this. And this is why I have to say this. Unfortunately, because of the allowability of the disrespect by number Sister of Chaos. And already on top of that, with the anti-American black men hatred as that's going on continuously as it is. And then border break illegal immigrants that are still setting up shop, no matter what people think, they're still setting up shop. And then you add in however numbers of immigrationists left and right that are still doing anything quietly. The list goes on. I have to say that American black menism will probably be overall finished in probably about a generation. I thank you for tuning in to the Black Men Experiences channel.